In a world of podcasts, one rises in the night to destroy them all. The elder god in an ocean of noise, the Cthulhu of the airwaves. This is Spoiler Country.
All right, welcome to a special Spoiler Country edition of Coffee Break. I am your host, of course, Sil Abdul, and we have comic book writer, sci-fi comic book writer, Adam Rose as our guest today. Welcome.
Thank you.
Definitely. I really appreciate, again, the team kind of, connecting me with Adam to have this conversation, because I was really delving into different types of comic writers, and we're going to have some nice conversations. Now, I always have this icebreaker question when we started the interview. My audience is pretty big DC fans, Adam, and I think the first thing they want to know is just in entertainment-wise, what has been your favorite depiction of a DC character? It could be a movie, TV show, what have you. What would you say to that?
My first response is I couldn't have been happier with the Justice League Unlimited animated series.
Great choice.
I loved every microsecond of that show. I mean, and of course, yes, I love the Batman animated series prior to that. So I love Bruce Timm, but I mean, the Justice League animated series, and especially when it went to the Justice League Unlimited, I was a kid in the candy store. I was seeing everybody that I wanted to see animated. I mean, I'm a big Dr. Fate fan. I mean, if you were ever to ask me Dr. Fate versus Dr. Strange, I would have to I'd have a tough time giving you a winner, but I'd have some ideas.
I'll say Fate. I'm biased.
So yeah, that would be my number one.
Awesome. I know there's a lot of fans of that. And like you said, you kind of mentioned the Bruce Timm thing. I am that Batman animated series. I lean towards that heavy too, but that's definitely a good choice on yours as well. So that's again high on people's list. And so you're a DC fan, so that's good. So you fit right in with the audience here. But a little bit about you, Adam. Again, you're a comic writer. I got a chance to kind of just look into things you did before. Just, I guess, what was your journey here? I have a lot of people that ask me, just like, how does this person, kind of get to this point if they're a writer, artist? So what was your journey, Adam, with that?
I mean, I have been a passionate comic book reader since I was like 8 years old, since I could hold a comic book, since like my grandparents sent me one in the mail. And I guess I've always had the collector bug. I think my theory behind that is my dad was a baseball card collector. And back in the day for him, when he went off to school, his mom, my grandmother, just gave all of his cards and like die-cast metal train set to the neighbors because, hey, I want to clean out the clutter. So my dad went the opposite route with me. He's like, anything you want to keep. He's like, my mom, we don't throw anything away. So that was like, it was almost fostered to keep and collect. But first and foremost, comic books, reading them is like every Wednesday is like Saturday morning cartoons for me. I mean, it is just a joy to get my comics. I still go for the floppy single issues. I've experimented with reading digitally. I dig it, and I want to explore it more. Like I hope this is okay to say, I've been playing with the Marvel Unlimited digital.
We venture out a little bit once in a while.
So, but then as far as writing goes, I've been passionate about writing in a lot of different forms, short stories, novels, screenwriting for years. I did a lot of improvisation and sketch writing for many, many years. And then I wanted to get into the comic book writing world. And about 15 years ago, I had the luck of getting to meet Adam Beechin, who's a DC writer, Robin, among other things. And he also does a lot of animating writing. And he kind of unofficially took me on. He looked at scripts that I was making. He gave me scripts of some of his old comic books. And it just was amazing, the feedback he gave me. And I wrote like my first kind of 5-issue comic. And I managed to get this wonderful artist, Tony Gregory, to do like a 10-page pitch for that. Still, that one's still that one I really feel strongly about. It's called Apotheosis, and it's about like what if Hercules met like the mortal half met the god half, and they kind of had to go in a race against time to reaccumulate the 12 labors in modern Greece. But anyway, so then I met Charles Tofield out of Baltimore area, and he illustrated my middle grade comic called Playground: Attack of the Gurglebots, where this kid gets all the powers of the playground. Like if he plays freeze tag, it's real. If he plays Simon Says, you are compelled to do what he said. So that was like I feel like that was like my grad school experience of learning, like from beginning to publishing to marketing to publicity, all of that with him. It was like a 4-year span, and we got it out through a small publisher out of England, actually called Marcosia Entertainment. And that came out, I guess now like 4 or 5 years ago, actually. And then, this Corollary was a script that I finished and partnered up with Rob Ahmad on about 4 years ago. So, and here we are.
Corollary, because that's kind of what's hot right now. When if people search, your name, Adam Rose, writer, comic, Corollary jumps out there, right, for Google. So that's a good thing, first off. And it's a pretty interesting take you have there, that whole twin element. If you want to talk about that a little bit, Corollary.
Yeah, well, it's all boils down to, in a galaxy of twins of all shapes and sizes, alien beings of you name it, all the way up to like planet-sized beings. Most, if not all, are born with a twin. And in this galaxy, the rule is if your twin dies, so do you. So that opens up all kinds of possibilities for different personalities. I mean, what if someone's very concerned that they have a very clumsy twin? And they have kind of a dark streak, and they like lock them in a padded room to make sure they don't get hurt or something. And it came from the most innocent place. My daughter was like 4 at the time, and we had some friends that were about to have twins, and she just said, as I was tucking her into bed, "Daddy, if you tickle one twin, will the other laugh?" And I took that and twisted it into this dark kind of morbid. And then, the character Captain Andromeda, she came to me, and I knew who she was, and I knew what she was about, and it just took off. And meeting Rob Ahmad as the artist, he's by coincidence, he's based out of England, but he's done some books for like Scout Comics, Action Lab, others out here, and plenty of stuff in the UK. And speaking back, circle all the way back to Bruce Timm, I mean, his vibe on this kind of there are elements that I think are in that genre. And one big experimental payoff, I think, for our book is Rob hand watercolored the first 3 of issues.
Oh, awesome. Okay, definitely. I'm going to make sure I'm going to get some images up when I do my clips, because that's interesting to see that art. And I mean, hey, it's like, it seems like this is what's kind of hot for you right now. Because now, correct me if I'm wrong, you had like a campaign to get this out. I think it was a Kickstarter or something.
Oh, no, this came out just straight through Source Point Press.
Oh, okay, got you.
Yeah, and if issue 1 comes out April 20th, and then it's going to be monthly. It's 4 issues. I'm going to be if anyone's in Los Angeles, I'm going to be at the Comic Bug on April 20th at their Culver City from 12 to 3, and then Manhattan Beach from 4 to 7, signing and hopefully encouraging people to take a chance.
Awesome, man. I tell you, I love just unique takes. And like you said, it's good. Obviously, I'm a big story person, but it helps to have an awesome artist as well. So it seems you do with that. So, hey, that's what's hot right now for you. Now, of course, I mean, if you're just in the moment with that, but do you have other plans going on, or
Oh yeah. I mean, I have a couple things cooking. I am pretty excited about it. I finished a script and this one's going to be a little more on the horror meets fantasy detective noir. And that one, I'm partnering up with an artist named Magenta King, who, if you've heard of Jenny Zero out of Dark Horse, that's Magenta King's work. Beautiful book, beautiful series written by David Dwank. But so that's the next thing that we're going to kind of get fired up with. He's starting some pages on that. And I have a couple other things that I'm hoping they're going to take off. I got a meeting next week with another publisher about writing for them. And I may or may not have some really cool news about something affiliated with the Marvel film world, but I'm not allowed to talk about it yet because of non-disclosures and all that. But I'll definitely let you know when I'm allowed to talk about that.
Yeah. That's interesting. Again, there's a nice crossover with the audience. I'm looking forward to some Marvel stuff too, and that will be pretty awesome. If just we'll speculate. NDAs. But so looking forward to that. Now, how can we connect with you? How can the viewers connect with you and find your I know you said your comic and things like that, websites, social media?
Yeah. So for me, Twitter at Adam Rose 74, and then Instagram at Shazam Cap, CAP. And so there's a shout out to DC. I did love the Shazam movie. Okay, I loved that right there. That tone. That is what I think DC movies should be, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. There's that light, vibrancy to it, and it's got some serious stuff going on too. But the last thing for my comic, you can get it at your comic book stores. I think you can reach out also just straight to sourcepointpress.com. And, like I said, issue 1, April 20th, it's monthly. It's 4 issues.
Awesome. I tell you, so definitely that'll be a way for people to connect and kind of follow what you're doing. And like I said, I'm looking forward to that secret project you was teasing. So we have to definitely have a follow-up regarding that. And so you mentioned as far as, the Marvel universe and things like that and entertainment. Again, my viewers love the entertainment. I don't judge too many people that don't do the reading the source material. So I understand some viewers don't read everything, but let's talk about the entertainment. What are you watching now? Like in this geek superhero genre entertainment, what's catching your eye right now?
Well, I know I'm not in the minority on this one. I mean, I haven't seen episode 2, but Moon Knight. I'm digging Moon Knight quite a bit. I love how they're taking quote unquote obscure characters and breathing life into them. And this one I'm excited about. I also think I love Oscar Isaac as an actor, so I think that's pretty cool. Let's see. Other than that, it's not superhero, but as far as science fiction, and I think some of the smartest high concept sci-fi I've seen in years, as far as a TV show, Raised by Wolves.
Oh yeah, good choice. A lot of people have been buzzing about that, and so you've been kind of keeping up with us in the second season.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, I'm not finished. It just finished, but I'm like halfway through the second season. It is so smart. It's Ridley Scott produced. And I do think you could argue there's almost, some of the beings in this have that kind of like sci-fi superhero quality to them. But, back to like what you were saying, like what else, like in the pure superhero form. I've been consuming any DC animated movies that I can get, the new ones that are coming out. What is the last one I saw? Oh man, I think
they haven't come out with one too recently.
Yeah, I guess it has been a minute. I know that the new Young Justice series. I need to get back into that.
That's a good choice. Yeah. Young Justice, pretty solid, and it's very interesting too. It is an overlap with like the sci-fi genre as well. As far as superhero sci-fi. You mentioned Raised by Wolves, which again, I do love Ridley Scott. How do you like this long form approach? Just with all these, streaming and, do you see like kind of this wave of just like, you can consume in either kind of way, but are you a fan of this long form storytelling now that we're seeing, a lot more in these genres?
Yeah, I am. I guess as opposed to like one episode having its own complete story. And I think we're seeing a renaissance in TV storytelling because of this like streaming bingeable content. I think we're also overwhelmed with options. Totally different element, but I've had a million different people of all shapes and sizes say you have to watch Yellowstone. And I don't know if I'm ready. I don't know if I'm ready to get Peacock Plus. To get
I'm like, you got to sell me a little better, Peacock. Just me personally saying that before I commit. It's so many different streamers, Adam, right?
I just recently am experimenting with Paramount Plus, and I just started the first season of Star Trek Discovery. Okay. It is good, and I'm a Trekkie fan. And this feels like a show as good as up there for me as like The Next Generation.
Interesting. So Star Trek fan. So I'm I guess in the category of like a casual Star Trek, Star Trek fan. So I guess I can't claim Trekkie life like you probably can. But But it's been interesting conversations about just, Star Trek as a franchise. There's like a rumored new movie where I think they're making it. Or they're not making it. I don't know what's going on. We'll see. And then you do have, just different opinions about the streaming, shows for Star Trek. Where do you fall in that, Adam? Since you're a fan of that, are you seeing like, I guess, do you agree with any of the criticism, or are you more like you just got into Discovery, so maybe you're liking it right now, what they're doing?
Oh yeah, I mean, I guess I was thrown off by two things, and I've only seen like the first 5 episodes of the first season. I was thrown off when a character said "fuck."
Right.
I've never heard a Star Trek character say an F-bomb ever. So that threw me off. Yep. And what was the other thing? I mean, I guess maybe they're kind of giving themselves permission because it is a streaming service. Mm-hmm. So it's not network TV. So they're allowed to go further with swearing, with violence depicted. So I think it's like, I'm still actually, I'm not sure how I feel about the whole like them swearing like that on the show. I'm not like a prude about that. It's more like I just how many this is like hundreds of years in the future. Would they? I mean, I don't know.
No, I see where you're going with that, because I mean, sometimes if I swear, it's kind of like a word filler. It's not that I can't think. Maybe at that moment I'm not thinking of what I want to say, so it's just like you just drop an F-bomb, but it's like, like you said, they're supposed to be like advanced, more advanced than we are, and they can't, they're getting tongue-tied, or I don't know. Now, I will say the language didn't throw me off that much, but the violence was a little jarring. I was like, man, like, Star Wars.
Yeah, there are like necks being broken left and right.
But hey, they found their audience. But again, there's some purists, and I don't mean that like in a bad way, but just there's some purists that's just like turned off by that. And
and I'm wondering, because I've seen the trailer for the next show, which takes place right before Kirk.
Yeah,
so that'll be interesting. That might be a flavor that people are looking like, a classic flavor.
Maybe they need that to just balance it out. Like if you want to do like kind of like this weird shit with the breaking necks every like hour, it's like, okay, like I get it, y'all can do that, but does it have to be like that every episode? And then if they can match it with like some classic Star Trek vibes, maybe that's what it is. Now, something that people thought was going to be classic Star Trek was Picard.
Right.
That's a show, I'm be quite honest, I kind of tailed off personally, but again, I'm the casual Star Trek guy out. Have you been following that?
I just tried it, and I tried like the first 2 episodes, and I dug that suddenly Data's in it. But I got to go back to it. I mean, I haven't given it a fair shot, because Next Generation is my Star Trek. I mean, I love Kirk and all that too, but all the movies back then too. But as far as like the TV series that I just kind of grew up with loving it, well, actually, I mean, I dug Deep Space Nine too.
Okay.
I mean, I'm thinking back then, the only one maybe I was mediocre about was, actually Voyager I liked a lot. The one Enterprise with the Quantum Leap guy, Scott something. I didn't really get into that one, even though I love Quantum Leap.
Everyone should love Quantum Leap.
That's right.
Yeah. I don't want to hear any Quantum Leap slander.
Well, let me ask you, if you could leap, but only in your lifetime, where's the first place you'd leap?
Oh, man. Since I'm in Kentucky, it'll be on the West Coast somewhere. I think I'll leap just over to the West Coast, because Midwest it gets kind of wild. But I mean, that opens up the mind, right? The type of shows like that, like I said, writers like yourself, and you just kind of see that imagination, and
it's inspiring. Yeah.
Yeah. What do you feel about? Because I think I want to be clear when I say I'm not sure. I think I heard about a reboot for Quantum Leap, actually, because sometimes I get production info, and I put it on the channel. And what do you feel about it? It's like a wave of reboots. Like, you as a creator, like, I guess, like, is that, because I don't think it's always a bad thing to redo something or reboot it. borrow elements. I guess where do you land with that? Like, if you had a choice, like for your favorite franchise, would you want to redo what they did before or do something new? Like, just, your opinion.
I mean, I guess I wish there was less rebooting and more new. However, back to what we were talking about before about how the amount of content now, I feel like there's room for both because there's so many services and everyone's making their own stuff. I mean, 15 years ago, if you told me Apple was going to make an Oscar-winning movie, I wouldn't have. Well, maybe I would. Well, maybe, yeah, sure, that's possible. But I would have been a little surprised. So I guess there's room for all of it. I do like, so like Raised by Wolves is so refreshing to me because it's so new and it's its own thing and it doesn't have to follow the rules of something else. But then I also love The Mandalorian, but I didn't like the Book of Boba Fett. I'm sorry. So I hope
you're not alone.
Well, all right. There's 2 episodes I liked in that. I liked the 2 Mandalorian episodes.
Exactly. That's kind of how that felt for me too. Because oh my goodness, I'm kind of casual Star Wars as well. But if it's cool, catches my eye, okay. Mandalorian was always good for me, but Boba Fett, oh man, that was a chore for the first couple episodes, man.
Yeah.
that wasn't it for me. And I don't know, maybe they was trying to do something so different from Mandalorian. They didn't want, I don't know. They didn't land. But like you said, it hit overdrive when Mandalorian shows up, get the Darksaber. I'm like, okay, let's go. This is why I stay up for 3 a.m. on Eastern Standard Time. It comes out 3 a.m. That's what, what I want to watch. But you mentioned again this new show as we round out with Moon Knight. It's been, pretty exciting for some people. I still got to watch this new episode at the time.
Yeah, I haven't seen number 2 yet either.
Yeah. Oscar Isaac was so wonderful that first episode. Like he sells it. It wasn't a lot of, they didn't use a lot of like the suit. I mean, you barely saw the suit in the first one. And he sold it. Like, you pretty much on board for that series? Like,
yeah, I'm a big Moon Knight fan. I've loved Moon Knight since I was a kid. I don't know. I've always been fascinated by the character. I mean, he's certainly, if someone were to try to say, oh, he's just Marvel's Batman, no, he is not. He's a complicated character. And I think I'll be curious to see how they play with his multiple personalities and all that. And how, if they take it. Yeah. I mean, because Mark Spector, we barely have seen who is usually the main voice or controlling the body character. So yeah, no, I'm all in, and I am, it took me a minute to get used to the design of the suit, but I'm up for it. I think, I always thought he was a little more conventional. They're definitely upping the mystical, but I can get behind that. I get it.
Yeah, I'm definitely behind it. Ethan Hawke, he's wonderful in that first episode, and they keep you in the dark just a little bit, so you're like, man, like, it's gonna be probably be some cool reveals by the time we get through this series.
Well, did you hear about the Easter egg of the comic, the digital comic?
Yeah, right. Now,
take a picture of that code, you get Moon Knight and the werewolf from like the late 60s or 70s.
Yeah, Werewolf by Night. Yeah. Which, coincidentally, they're doing a Halloween special on Disney Plus. So, I mean, I feel like it's a dead giveaway. We're going to see Werewolf by Night, on this show. Stuff like that. That's pretty creative. It's like, who thought of that, right?
Yeah.
Now, I did hear it has to be like nearly a 4K screen to capture it. Because, you got some people, they may not have, that resolution to catch that code. But like I said, looking forward to that. I mean, again, anything that's kind of cool, I pretty much gravitate to it. So so looking forward. But with you as we round out here, Adam, again, a lot really to take in as far as what you're doing with your projects and waiting for probably some cool news for you in the near future. Any last things you want to kind of plug, or it could be some shout outs, it could be whatever you want to do.
I just want to thank the people at Source Point Press, like Josh Werner is like the main man there, and Cameron has been like my kind of helping me just see the route for this book. I'm going to be at Golden Apple Comics in Hollywood on Free Comic Book Day. So that's, I think, May 7th, Saturday from 11 to 2. And there's going to be a really good ice cream truck there. A friend of mine has a CVT. It's like a LA staple of soft serve ice cream. And that's going to be a blast. So come out then if you want to see, get some more corollary and then other comics will be there. And yeah, DC Hopkins, the letterer for my comic, he's a pro. Like, he's been incredible for this book. He's done every publisher under the sun and was kind enough to work on my book. And really, like, the lettering is genius. I mean, each character, you can see who they are in some ways based on how he does that. So that's everybody. And of course, back to Rob Ahmad is like the amazing artist I got to work with. And I hope to continue to work with him if we ever get a chance to, because I already have another idea for a series part 2.
All right. I'll tell you, thinking ahead, that's the way to do it. Definitely. Yep. So it's been an absolute pleasure talking to you, Adam Rose, and I've learned a lot, just how your approach and what you look at in the past. And again, we're excited. Your social media links, I'm sure, will be attached to this video so people can find you and catch them out there on the West Coast. There, you hit up those Comic Cons. I'm going to Seattle for the Emerald City Comic Con.
I'm planning on going because in Source Point's going to have a booth. I'm planning on going. We'll have to hook up.
Oh, we have to hook up, man.
That's great. Yeah. That's in August or September or August. Yeah,
August. Okay. Yeah, middle August. I'm attached with some people in my team. Mikey Sutton is pretty much like my business partner, and he has his own comic book called Dreamwalker, and he launched it pretty successfully. He's trying to push it internationally, and he has a Filipino background, and so that's really been cool for him. So he's trying to get a booth set up in Seattle for that Comic Con, and he's actually writing me into the comic.
Oh, that's cool.
Pretty cool. Yeah, that's going to be pretty cool to see. We'll definitely hook up, Adam, and I can't wait to see, like I say, your crew out there. And hopefully, I'll take a lot of pictures for everyone else. Me and Adam hanging out this August.
It's been a lot of fun.
Definitely appreciate you again. This was a special Spoiler Country edition coffee break. This is where we talk about geek film entertainment and sci-fi. I got to sneak that in there. We talk some sci-fi too.
Yeah.
So appreciate y'all. Y'all take care.
Spaghetti. And we're back.
That's right. We are back. Back in the saddle again. Well, I hope you guys really, really enjoyed that as much as we did making it for you. And if you like what you heard and you want to hear more, you got to go check out Spoilerverse.com, because at Spoilerverse.com, we have a plethora amazing directors and artists of all walks of life, and editors and writers, and oh my God, are you a lover of comic books like we are? Then there's so many amazing people from the comic book world over at Spoilerverse.com, and I highly implore you to go there and check it out.
Yeah, and while you're there, you can check out all the other podcasts on our network, like Bridges and Geekdoms and Funny Book Forensics and Haphazard Adventures and Nerds from the Crypt and so many more.
Misery
we put out
Point
episodes
Radio
all the time. Go check all of them out, and check out all of the reviews and previews and articles we have going up every single day for you, every day on Spoilerverse.com for you to check out and to read and to love and to like and to comment. We have a store link. You want to help support the site? You can do it 2 ways. One, go to our Patreon, which is patreon.com/spoilercountry, or go to our store link in the middle of the site there and get a t-shirt, a face mask, a hoodie, something, look fly as hell, and help support the site when you do that, because we get $1 or $2. And, maybe you want to talk to us. If you do, you can do it obviously on all the socials, but if you go to scpod.us/Discord, you can join our public Discord server and come chat with us all day long.
I couldn't say it better myself, dude.
There you go.
You just mouthed out a ton of information at once, and really, I hope you guys enjoy what you're hearing, because we're working our butts off to bring it to you.
We are.
I guess there's only one left thing. Yeah, I'm going to go with it. There's only one left thing left to do.
What's that?
In an oceans of podcasts,
we are Cthulhu.
As Cthulhu compels you to
open the mind
and read more.
Spaghetti.